Instead you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick. Bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway of Life Unplugged. Unfortunately, I had to take a couple weeks off, and believe me, it wasn't a vacation. Because now, not only did we have an injury in one of the crew members, but we had me, after about 5 years being able to avoid COVID, I finally got COVID. I wound up spending 2 days in the hospital and almost a week in rehab. And I'll explain why. Medically, I did not need rehab, but there's other reasons why I had to go to rehab. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm gonna stay on as long as I can. And today we had to go a couple minutes early because while I was in the hospital, I was setting up the transportation, and this is 2:25 to 2:30 is all they could give me. So we had to go a few minutes early. But back to what I was saying before. The reason why I had to go to rehab was not a medical issue at all. It was people were sick. People were sick that needed to take care of me, and we didn't want anybody else to get sick. Plus, we didn't have enough backup in case anybody got sick. So I had to go to rehab, and which I'm not used to at all. And because I'm used to a one-on-one situation. What I mean by one-on-one situation is my caregivers only take care of me when they're there. They don't have 50 people to take care of at one time. You heard me right. 50 people. and this is wrong in my own. Sorry if I cough a little bit. I tested negative last Thursday, but I'm still got some effects from it, and I'm not totally back to normal. But you can rest assured that I would not be here if I still tested positive. So I'm not positive at all. And they would not have let me out of the facility if I was. So basically what I'm saying is the nursing home was for all practical purposes, they said they had 3 or 4 people. But the ratio was 2 CNAs, 2 nurses for 50 people. The actual ratio was 2 CNAs, 2 nurses for 50 people. And that wasn't enough. And given the fact, I must say this right off the bat. This is my opinion alone. This does not reflect the opinion of Pittsburgh Community Television, Berkshire Health Systems, or anyone affiliated with Berkshire Health Systems. It's just a reality. It's not actually an opinion, but because I actually had people say this to me before, where because I had COVID and because other people had COVID, they were limiting the exposure in the room, coming in the room because we had COVID. And sometimes they would literally wait it felt like, and sometimes actually it was, 4 and 5 hours before somebody would come in and take care of me. I literally had to use my cell phone to call UCP, my agency, my case managers, to get the facility to come in and help me. Because they did not want to come down and interact with me because of COVID. Now, I get the fact that they don't want to contract COVID. I get that. But when you're in the medical field, when you're in the situation you're in, expect to get sick. I mean, you don't expect to get sick, but you try to do everything you can, but don't neglect somebody because you don't want to get COVID. Okay? Now, I'm not accusing anybody of neglect, but that's what it felt like to me. They would actually, another thing that was tough for me is the fact that I have all my controls and everything set up at the house, so I can control everything that I need to at the house. And at the nursing home, I can't control nothing. I can't even make a phone call myself, which requires someone else to come in to help me with it and turn on the speakerphone and stuff like that. So the only form of communication sometimes was texting, and that was limited based on where the location of the phone was and where the CNAs were at the time when I wanted to make a phone call. Now, luckily, I had the phone set up so I could text by voice, but that is limited. That is limited based on the fact that I can't when I'm sick, obviously my voice changes, so that was limited because of that. And let me back up a little bit for you before I go to my first PSA break in a few minutes. I'm not ready to go yet, Kelsey, but stand by. I'd like to say this, that, you know, hospitals and nursing homes need to take into account more than the physical needs of a patient. They need to consider what the person has at home and how much care it's going to take to maintain the independence of the person. It does not mean you disrespect the person or feel like they're less than because they got COVID just because you don't want to be exposed to it. Well, that in the healthcare field, I hate to tell you, but COVID is here to stay. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that it's here for a little while longer. And it's gonna be another version of the flu. So if you, this is my opinion alone, if you don't want to be exposed to things like this, if you have a aversion to the CDC recommendations for COVID shots and stuff like that, you might want to reconsider going into the healthcare field, because I get the fact that for physical health and stuff, but when you're going into when you're going into other people, when you're going in to take care of people, it's not about you that you gotta worry about. You gotta worry about you, but you gotta worry about the other person that you're taking care of too. And you can't forget they're human beings too. And whether they're sick or not, they deserve the same level of care as anybody else. Now, when I come back in a minute, I'm gonna get into what we had to do to transfer me and kind of break down the timeline of what happened and stuff like that. We will be right back, folks. Enjoy the PSA.
I have a maker. He formed my heart before even time began. My life was in his hand. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. I have a Father. He calls me his own. He'll never leave me, no matter where I go. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. He knows my name. He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls and hears me when I call. You hear me when I call. He hears me when
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brian Fitzpatrick with an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life with an update on me medically and with exciting and useful information that you guys need to have during this segment, and I will give you a quick preview before I get off the air what I'm going to be doing over the next at least 2 weeks, and maybe longer. What I said I was going to do is give you timeline. Well, I started feeling bad on Friday. Okay, I thought it was just a cold, and I thought it was something I could handle at home. Well, I took a test around 1:30, 2 o'clock on Tuesday. And on the 2nd, and then it was determined under consultation with the agencies, and I made my own decision to go to the hospital. Now, I took 2 tests when I got 2 tests before I left the house, and they were both positive. Okay? I called the hospital, let them know it was coming, called the doctor's office, let them know I was going, and I still had to sit there 2 to 3, 4, maybe 4 hours. I didn't get in there until a little after 6. Well, then when they examined me and determined it was COVID, then they decided to move me from express care to the regular emergency room. Now, they were watching my vital signs for a long time, okay? Trying to get the hospital upstairs to take me up, to admit me. But due to my vital signs being in good range, it only dropped for a few seconds during the course of the time they were monitoring me. They could not admit me to be asleep. But here's the deal. They also could not take me back home because I didn't have any staff. So, and this is no joke, I sat in the emergency room in Cube 25 of the nurses, Cube 25 of the actual emergency department for 2 days because they wouldn't take me upstairs. I sat in the emergency room for 2 days, laying on a gurney until they decided they were going to transfer me. Then once they decided to transfer me, it was a case of where are we, where are we going to transfer him to? So that took an extra 24 hours. So that's what determined the 2 days in the emergency room. Now, I'd like to thank County Ambulance and Brian Andrews from County Ambulance, and he does a great job here on a personal level he does a great country western show here on the radio. I don't know what day it is, but he does that as well. But he is the leader of a top-notch ambulance and paramedic team that is by far the best in the Commonwealth. That I'm a little biased because I've known him for years, but in my opinion, he's one of the best. His team transferred me to Hillcrest Commons, and their team was, even though they had their problems, their team on Unit 2 did the best they could under circumstances beyond their control. And I'm not gonna blame anybody, but overall, it was a bad situation that could have been a lot worse. But you may ask yourself, why was I transferred, 1, to a nursing home, and 2, why was I transferred by ambulance? Okay. Because in my house, I use 6 point of contact lift. Okay. My lift has 6 points of contact that I use. Their lift at the nursing home only had 4. And that's all they had. Okay. Which meant I couldn't use my lift if I wanted to. Because excuse me, I had to use their Hoyer lift while I was in the nursing home. Then we had the complicated factor of having to transfer Hoyer pads when I got home back to mine. Okay. I had a Hoyer pad with me to use, but it was determined that it would be too hard to put me in a chair with their Hoyer lift, then put my Hoyer lift back under and get theirs out at the same time. Okay? So we determined that the best course of action was to transfer me by ambulance to the nursing home and then use their Hoyer lift while I was there, and then transfer back to my house by ambulance so I could then use my equipment to get back up in my chair. And that's what we did. And with the help of county ambulance and the cooperation of UCB staff, transferring my equipment from home, some of my equipment, not all, some of the essentials, not all. We survived it and we got through it. Would I like to do that again? No. And some of the things I saw in the facility in general, I do not wish anybody to have to go into a nursing home. Okay? But if you do, but if anybody does, one thing you gotta have is a good relationship with the social workers outside of the facility. You gotta have, in other words, you gotta have a good support system. You gotta be able to talk to the social workers inside the facility, and you gotta be able to withstand a lot of, you gotta be able to be patient even though it's a hard thing to do. And the only way I made it is by the grace of God. I was ready to, there was many times where I just said, you know what, and I actually told the facility this. I'm like, is there any way I can be transferred back to the hospital because the care in the facility was not up to the standard that it should have been. But some people would say that, and for clarification, I am not talking just one facility. I'm talking the whole King Caboodle. There's got to be a better system because from the get-go, I'm sitting in the emergency room for 2 days because you're not medically sick enough, even though I'm in a chair and even though I've got medical conditions other than what I had when I went in there, there was still not enough consideration taken for the fact that this guy can't go home. They were fighting me. If I didn't fight as hard as I did, and no disrespect, but I don't think, I really don't think, if I didn't have good advocates and good people backing me, I think But I think the health system wouldn't let me go. Wouldn't let me go back home. But the fact that I didn't have any staff was enough to give them pause to say, wait a minute, we can't legally send him home because he's got nobody to take care of. So, and UCP even had three out of four people that I have down with COVID because I was home for a while before I went in. And then my case manager got it because of contact, because he was transferring my stuff from facility to facility. Now, the question is there anything that can be done about this so it doesn't happen again? And the answer is I don't know. But with this show and the contacts that I'm currently working on, and with the help of the new administration of the city of Pittsfield, I am about to find out. And I'm gonna take a quick PSA break, and then when I come back, I'll explain more about what I'm talking about, and then I will tell you what's coming up in the next couple weeks, and then we will wrap up the show for this week. We will be right back, folks.
When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see a mountain move. And as I walk through the shadow, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I am safe with you. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you, and every fear I lay at your feet, and I'll sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? Yeah. For Jesus, there's nothing impossible for you. When all I see are the ashes, you see the beauty. Thank you, God. Oh, when all I see is a cross, God, you see the empty tomb. So when I fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And every fear I lay at your feet, I'll sing mighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Oh, nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And every fear I lay at your feet. I sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. Oh God, the battle belongs to you.
Good afternoon, folks. It's Brain Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. And if you need to get a hold of me in any way, you can contact me at wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com. That's wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com. Before I go too far into this and wrap up the show today, yes, I have wonderful people, and yes, I have a wonderful team that takes care of me in a wonderful area, that wonderful people and wonderful caregivers and all that, but the person that I gotta thank the most is Jesus Christ himself, because without him, for the week and a half that I was out of the house, he was my biggest support that I had, because I was in my room, sitting there alone for 4 to 5 hours, watching the same thing on TV, because I couldn't change the channel on the TV, because people didn't want to come in and take care of me, but it's just it's all the respect in the world for people, thing we can handle, and even though that was tough, without him, I wouldn't be here today. able to continue to do what I do. And in my selfish and my desire to let people know about disabilities and what God wants me to do, I gotta remember, it's not about me, it's about Him. And if there's any lesson to be made, I'm darn lucky I'm in the position where I'm in, because I could not survive the remainder of my life in a position like I was in for the last week and a half. I am still dealing with postnasal drip, like you can hear once in a while. But I am 75% better than I was. And I am no longer positive at all. There's not even a shade of color that says I'm positive. So nobody needs to worry that I'm not wearing a mask or not doing what I need to do. It's been checked out. My blood count's back. Blood count is back to normal. Everything is on the up and up. Now, again, everything that I said about the healthcare system is across the board. The situation has got to change. And one of those situations is the need to evacuate during a quarantine situation. Okay. Now, this is going to be a tall order, and I'm prepared to do it. Even if I have to go to Governor Healy's office myself. Now, that's going to be a tall order. But here's what I propose. The healthcare field needs to include, when you are declaring, this is what I will discuss with other people first, but here's what I'm thinking. The medical field gets the medical field gets the assistance of the National Guard. Okay? The National Guard should be used for situations like mine, in a PCA situation, where I don't have PCAs and people to take care of me. Okay? I believe, even though it was a controlled situation, that was a major risk to transfer me from facility to facility during a COVID situation, because I could have spread it from somewhere, from other people to other people in a facility. Even though they are used to COVID, They should not have to go through COVID like they did. And all I'm doing is looking for other options. I'm not saying the option that we picked make judgment calls based on the information they have, not the information people want to give them. And I'm going to propose to the governor and to the city officials here that something's got to be set up so that I do not have to tie up the medical field for a week and a half because I don't have any caregivers because they're all sick. Now, I know that's going to take months and maybe years to decide this, but I am prepared. I may not see it, but at least I'm gonna make sure that it's looked at, and it's looked at in a way that people will say, wow, I didn't look at it that way. Now, before I run out of time real quick, I have an announcement. Wheeling the Pathway to Life is establishing another line of direct communication with the mayor's office. The direct communication will not stop with this new administration. As a matter of fact, I am working on within the next couple weeks. I know due to conversations with the mayor's office and stuff that I've seen you on PCT, that the mayor will be on every other week or every 2 weeks, or it works out to be like every other week on PCT to discuss his issues and what he's got planned for the city of Pittsfield and for you. I will be bringing him on to discuss disabilities and the way he is going to handle disabilities and his response to emergency situations like a medical emergency or a citywide medical emergency when it comes to handicapped people. And like I said, we may have to get Governor Healy and her office involved from the state level, but I am going to make sure that it is not forgotten, and I'm going to make sure that what I do is according to making sure that our needs are met, not only our needs, my needs, but everybody else's needs, but I'm going to make sure God's desires come first. And God's desires are for people to come to Him and know that He will protect us and He will put people on this earth, and He has put people on this earth to protect us. protect me and protect everybody else in the city of Pittsfield and beyond in the sound of my voice. So just be aware that I am wholeheartedly working in my head and working physically, sometimes 24 hours a day, on things that I'm going to bring on the show, and this show will continue. And I'm sorry I had to take a couple weeks off because of injury and because of getting COVID, but this has taught me there's a lot of work to be done. Yeah, I am prepared to do it. And with my team that I have behind me, both at UCP and PCT, and every technical person here, it will get done, and it will get done in a proper way, and we will be bringing you new and exciting stuff just about every week. We may go over the same thing, but it's information you need to know, and we will see how it goes from there. We will be back to regular schedule next week. And again, like I said, anybody that needs any information from me can contact me at Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com, or go on Facebook go on Facebook and just look up Brain Fitzpatrick, and I will get back to you, or you can contact me via message on YouTube. If you just drop me a message on YouTube, then I will get back to you. Give me time when you want me to get hold of you. Again, this has been Brain Fitzpatrick bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathway to Life. And we will be back next week, regular schedule. And again, you can get a hold of me at Wheeling the Pathway to Life at gmail.com. Thank you all, and I will be back stronger than ever from now on. Thank you all for your support and your cooperation. Have a good afternoon, folks.
You can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song. 'Cause when the spirit's moving is where we'll be done. You can bury the workman, but the work will go on.